I came across an ad on Facebook this morning that was telling me that Yahoo wanted to share with me the number one AI stock in the future. That was a European company that had a moat built around it and that would continue to grow at astronomical rates, and was a $700 stock that would be a $2,000 stock by 2030. And I said, I know what they're talking about. And as I read more, they prompted me to go to a video, and there they wanted to sell me some information on a monthly basis, somewhere around $2,000 a year, to give me insight into their wonderful information. And I said, well, I know what they're talking about. That's ASML. ASML is the company that makes the lithographic machines, that creates the 10 nanometer chip that they pile 1 million transistors on, and then make NVIDIA's and everybody else's chip that's going to run the world. So I said, I need to tell my viewers who that is, and then I need to share with them how I analyze my stocks, to 50 of my stocks that are in the AI field, to give them substantiation of exactly what Yahoo is trying to sell them. So let me take you to my spreadsheet that I've created, that I've built algorithms that justifies exactly what they're saying, because they're right. ASML has a monopoly, it has a moat, and there's nothing going to stop it. So let's take a look at that. Okay, this is the spreadsheet that I've built, as I said, through which I analyze about 50 different stocks, and here you have them listed here. And what I do is I analyze them from different perspectives, and then come to a conclusion as to what I should expect from each one of these stocks over the next 3 to what would it be, 5 years. And I want to explain it, I want to give you focus on ASML. These are the people who make the machine that Taiwan Semiconductor, Samsung, and right now Intel are using to make these 10 nanometer chips. A nanometer, so that you understand it, is about the width of my hair, of a strand of my hair. And on that chip, it's a square chip the size of my hair. They pile 1 million transistors on it. I know that's hard to imagine, but that's what they do. And the machine that it makes that possible is made by ASML, a Dutch company that has a monopoly. Nobody else makes it. And they cost, I think I remember it was $1.5 million a piece. So you can see why they have a moat. So the way I analyze a stock is I start with what is their growth potential, because I believe the price of a stock is relative to how much income can this company produce that it can share with its stockholders, and thus will drive the price of the stock up. And ASML is projected over the next 3 years to grow its earnings per share by 34.04% per year, which, as you can see, I've highlighted those in green that have good numbers, those that are kind of normal in white, and those that are not really standing up to the times are in brown. So then I say, okay, what's its PE ratio? And as it happens, ASML's price to earnings, how many years will it take of the earnings at their current rate to match their stock price? Well, it's 35.6. And as you can see, again, the range, it ranges anywhere from 97 on ARM to a low of something like 7.7 on ACMR. So what that tells me is and then I divide this number of 34 into 35, and I come up with 1.05. That tells me if the price of the stock is fair for the amount of earnings that it's generating on an annual basis. And a 1 says it's fairly priced. Anything above that, it gets a little overpriced. And you can see here's IBM at 4.5 and Navitas at 5.7. But back to ASML is 1.5. So it's fairly priced, okay? Then what I do is I say, okay, if ASML stock price grows in direct relationship to its earnings per share growth. In other words, if its stock price grows at 34% each year for the next 3 years, what is the price of the stock going to be? And its current price is $718. It says if the stock price grows at the same rate as its earnings per share are growing, that on January the 1st of 2028, the ASML stock price will be $1,626, and it will give me 126% return on my current price of $718. That makes it the 15th best performing stock under those circumstances in the stocks that I follow. Then I go in and I say, okay, well, let's take these high PE ratios out of the equation and say, okay, what if we bring it down and say that all the PE ratios or the PEG ratios are 1? Then how will the stock perform? That means basically we're saying we're going to take all the overpriced FOMO stocks out of the equation and say, okay, if they only grow based on their earnings growth, and not the FOMO that drives their PEO up to 97, how are they going to grow? Well, as you can see, ASML stays about the same. And again, that's because its PEG ratio is close to 1. So now it tells me it's going to grow at 129% by the end of the start of 2028, making it the 11th best performing stock on the 50 stocks that I follow. Then I go and I say, okay, what is its fair price today? Now, how do I do that? ASML's price currently at a PEG ratio of 105 is $718. If in fact I change that to 1, bringing the current price down slightly, and then I grow that price at a rate of 34% over the next 2 years, what is the price of what is the value today of ASML stocks? And it says the value today is not $718, it's $846, and so it's selling at a 17% discount. And I do that on each of the stocks, okay? So then I go and I say, okay, if the earnings in 2030 on ASML, which I have access to, if it's $56.25, their earnings per share in 2030, and I multiply it times its current PE ratio of 35.68, what will ASML sell for in 2030? And it's $2,700. Now, I do that for each of the stocks so that, again, where I have access to what through data that I pay for, what is their earnings per share going to be in 2030 based on what the information we have and the growth rate that they're projecting, what is the earnings per share going to be in 2030, what is its current PE ratio, and I come up with a price. Now, I'm not sharing all that with everybody because, again, this is my information. This is my work. This is my data that I'm paying for, and I'm sharing with my tribe members. Okay? Is that fair? I think it is. So what I do then is I work on this on a regular basis, and I put it on my website. This is a Google Sheets. So as the market opens tomorrow, these numbers of current price will change, and then all the numbers over here will change in accordance and give me more information. Now, as they have their earnings calls, I will monitor their earnings calls and change these growth numbers as they change, and I get that from the data that I purchase that gives me a daily upbeat on what is changed with ASML. Now, how I then go beyond that is I do what I call a deep dive. And this is so that you can come and get all the current information. To give you an example, this morning I went and got all the articles and earnings reports from ASML. Most of the articles were written within the last 2 days, and I load that up onto my AI agent, which is run by Samantha and Brad, and they create me a podcast. This one happens to be about 17 minutes long, and it explains to me exactly where ASML is, what they have announced in the last 3 days as to what's going to happen in their future, so I have current information. All you have to do is click on that link there, and it will take you to a podcast that Brad and Samantha will give me and you with a total explanation of what ASML is doing.
ASML stock is a good buy, huh?
Uh-huh.
Really focusing on how much its price could grow in the future.
Yeah. That's it.
And you're smart to zero in on those earnings per share and that PE ratio for that.
They're important.
Okay, so let's deep dive into these Seeking Alpha articles, all from this very month, December 2024, and see what we can uncover.
Right.
So this ASML, they're kind of under the radar, right?
Yeah, most.
So that gives you, on each of the stocks that I follow, a up-to-date understanding of what they do, where they are, what their price projections are in the future, and it's made specifically for me. And I'm doing that through my AI agent, which I happen to name Samantha and Brad. And I do it for each of the stocks that I follow, as you can see here. And what I will do, if you come and take a look at this, you're going to see if they give me, if I can find in the data what they project their earnings per share are going to be in 2030, I then multiply that times their current PE ratio, and I'll give you what, if the PE ratio stays the same, what the price of stock is going to be in 2030. That's how I analyze stocks. I don't get involved in the FOMO, because you'll see some of this ARM is a tremendous stock. It's growing at 28%, but it's got a PE ratio of 97. I'm not willing, I won't live 97 years. Hell, I won't live 35 years. But it gives me a relationship as to what are these stocks going to be worth in the future. And isn't that what we're really looking for? Okay, that's my take on this morning's Yahoo ad on Facebook and how I interpret it and what I do. And now you don't need to at least pay for that piece of information. It's ASML. This is what I strive to do, is to make you a better investor by giving you access to the data that I pay for and sharing it within my community. This is our gold platform. It's basically designed for someone who wants to take advantage of the change in the world. Doesn't want to get into swing trading, doesn't want to get into day trading, but wants to build a portfolio around the stocks that are going to change our world in the next 3 years. These are the people building the infrastructure, and then also take positions in those companies who are going to deliver us this artificial intelligence, this machine learning, this quantum computing in the form that we can use it to make our lives better. And that's where I want young people particularly to build their Roth IRA. Buy the companies, and it's going to be, as I see it now, Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta, the same as it was for the digital revolution, because let's face it, they got the money to buy the talent, to buy these machines, or actually they're buying the semiconductors. They're the people who are buying all of Jensen's GPUs right now and making their own GPUs, and so they'll probably run into some decreases in their price, and that's where you should be dollar cost averaging into them inside a Roth IRA. But for the building of the infrastructure, that's what the 50 stocks I'm looking at on my cheat sheet, and I'm making available to you on my website, Best of Us Investors. For $19.95 a month, you'll get access to this daily changes in an analysis of those 50 stocks, and we'll build that to more stocks as AI improves and my AI agents do more work for me autonomously. Now, the other thing you'll gain access to is that every time I trade a stock within my portfolio, you get a message, either an email or a text message saying Kerry's making a trade, and then you have access on the portfolio every evening as to how my portfolio has changed. You then have access to our community, which is a Discord where we sit and we talk about the stocks on a daily basis. We have a live Discord, and then we have a Friday stock talk where I share with you what I've learned over the last week and what I'm projecting to do over the next week. And we it's kind of like a church. Where we all get together and share our insights so that we grow as a team. And again, this is available to you for $19.95, and so that you don't get into you don't spend any money that you don't get value out of. I'm giving you a 14-day free trial. Go to the link in the description, go sign up, work on it for 14 days, see if it isn't worth $14, the cost of 2 cups of Starbucks coffee each month, and see if it doesn't help you become a better investor. Because if it doesn't, I don't want you spending any money on it. But on the other hand, if it does, and you have something to add to the community to give us even more insight as to what's in the future, I want you there. Okay? I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. This is what I do. And then I watch some college football and some professional football. And that's what I'm going to go do right now. It's Sunday. This video will come out on Monday. I hope it finds you healthy. And I hope you have a happy holiday, a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Talk to you again soon.